candles, you obviously love the product, hence why you've come back. But that is my price and I'm not dropping it. And that's another thing as well, being strong in your conviction about your brand, your product, believing in your product, that regardless of what people say, whether it's negative or it's positive criticism, just running with it and understanding the reason why you set that price. Not having anyone tell you no, because I know my product's good.
So I'm Duke from Two Pencils and a Pad, and I'm here with Limara O.Robert, founder of O.Robert&Co.
Yeah.
So before we talk about your journey, like how have you been? What have you been up to? How'd you feel?
Fast forward a whole year from the point of having a conversation with you guys just about the branding and what my plans were. And yeah, a whole year later, the business has gone in directions that I didn't think it would. It's done really, really well considering in the first year. And off the back of that, there has been a lot of press as well around the brand. So yeah, I've hit milestones that I didn't think that I would achieve or attain in my first year, but I've managed to do that. And considering that the website only launched in February, so we only started selling products through the website in February of this year, yeah, I would say that I'm quite proud of where O.Robert&Co has gone, and then also working with other brands and collaborating with other brands. So I just assumed that O.Robert&Co was just going to be a homeware brand that will sell homeware fragrances, but now I'm collaborating with smaller businesses looking at issues around sustainability, looking at issues around Black women in business, and trying to get a better understanding as to how I can then help other people. I just, funny enough, thought it was going to be a very selfish but lonely journey, but it actually hasn't been that. It's been the complete opposite. And now I'm also doing white label products as well for other businesses. So producing goods for them and then them putting their labels on it. So that's been an amazing opportunity, and something that's coming in monthly as well. So outside of the own bits and pieces that I'm doing. So yeah, like really happy with that. And actually across that whole year, there's been a lot of other small businesses that I've supported, shouted me out. Some of them don't even know me from Adam, but it's like the branding, like the way the business looks, and I suppose happy to shout that it's a Black business, and a small business as well. So yeah, it's been really, really good. I want to see where the next year takes us, but we know that we're going to be going into other things outside of homeware fragrances and going more into home products. So there'll be more coming on that, or will be revealed in time. But yeah, that's basically O.Robert&Co in a nutshell from when we launched in June, or I had the idea in June, and then, you know, I think it was just a couple of months ago, I had to file my first set of company accounts. So even to get to that milestone alone has been amazing. So yeah.
Okay. So like you're saying that was this your first year? Is this your first year?
Yeah. This is my first year.
So okay, so like let's start it back a little bit. How we connected was around about this time last year through Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, you know, like you see people on Facebook grow, but you never actually physically speak to people. So obviously thanks for reaching out. I can't remember how we I think it was a post that I put up about this time last year, which was kind of like a spontaneous thing to kind of do. I'm quite introverted in the sense of like I keep my opinions in. I like to talk about them, but not post them.
Yeah.
So that was kind of just like one of those days where I was like in my kitchen. I said, "Oh, actually, let me just send this like because it's a thought that's in my head. Let me just share it, not for any particular response. It was just kind of like people need to they need to hear it."
Yeah.
And then
So I remember, I think the post was on the UK. You guys had showcased at the UK Black Business Show,
mm,
and for someone that is Black but also very much pro-Black and have been for the longest time, it was nice to see another Black business doing well and have been doing well for a while.
mm,
So I think for me, it was important to connect. And then on top of it, the fact that we had gone to school made it a bit more, the process a bit more comfortable, I suppose, for me to reach out. Um, and then to just find out what you guys had been doing and all the different brands that you had worked with. And also I was part of a mentoring group, and knowing that you had done some branding for Liberty
yeah,
and seeing what you guys had done, it was a no-brainer for me. And I suppose giving you guys the concept and then you guys going away, I remember getting the email saying, okay, we've got some drafts here. I remember not being nervous, but being anxious with excitement as to, I wonder what they come up with. And then seeing that O icon and then thinking, okay, yeah, that is it. Like I can see that can be so easily transferred across different products. And I think that was my thought process when I saw it. Um, so yeah, I'm very, very happy that your random thought led me to finding good branding or someone that can brand my products for me, and kind of just knew the vision. And sometimes you go to people and you discuss branding,
yeah,
because they're the subject matter expert, you feel like your voice isn't being heard, if that makes sense.
totally, totally.
Because it gets quite technical. I don't think it should be like this. I don't think it should be like that. And then you're not necessarily happy with the finished product.
Yeah, always.
Whereas this time round, it wasn't like that. So
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting because actually, like when you spoke to Nate, it was like
mhm,
he told me like, oh, I spoke to Limara, and I was just like, Limara. And funny enough, that day I couldn't get on the call, so
mhm.
like he was saying it to me, and it wasn't until like the late afternoon the penny dropped, and I was just like, no way, this isn't Limara from
School.
school.
And how many Lamaras do you know? Like, yeah.
Like two, which is you and another one. So I was just like, nah. And I was like, this is like, I've known you we went to school like 20 plus years ago. I'm not gonna say how many when exactly, but like 20 plus
Let me
years.
put the spotlight on that age.
But it's a long time. So it was just like, wow, is that actually someone from the past is actually like finding me or sourcing me? And that was really interesting. And I guess you talk about having anxieties or like the excitement and nervousness of like seeing like the logo. One thing I'll probably say to anyone that does watch this is like there's always this sense of pressure when you design for someone that you know, because
Okay.
we haven't spoken for many years.
Yeah.
And the last time we probably had contact was probably through secondary school, if that. And then
Mhm.
to now be given the opportunity to design, and all you kind of remember is this person that was like 11 years old, and that's the last memory you've got. It's kind of like it's do or die.
Yeah.
Um,
Most definitely. I can imagine that that was pressure for you
yeah.
for that reason.
So for me, it was like this has to be a win. No matter what happens, got to come out really strong and just kind of do something that not only that I can be proud of, but you can kind of champion as well and be proud of as well. Um, and yeah, it was a challenge. I think as a creative or a designer, sometimes you're pushed to a certain limit where if you've got a particular style of designing, you have to then kind of dial it back a bit. Because although your logo has a simplicity factor to it, it's got a story to it as well.
Yeah.
And I've never told anyone this, but I've always imagined your logo animated.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when I designed it in a way that if it was going to be animated, I would know how to do it in my mind.
Okay.
But I've never found the time to obviously implement that. But in my mind, I know how it would go. So
Mm-hmm.
when putting it together, it was probably the first time in a long time that I actually saw it as a moving image, rather than a static one.
It's interesting.
Yeah, but
It's really
I've got work to do, because for anyone that's watching this, especially the pencils, they're gonna be like, you need to get on it. So